Time now for Focus, and today a closer look at what seems to be the one most contentious battleground in today's Europe referendum in the UK, immigration. A record number of people arrived in the UK in 2014, and bringing immigration down to the tens of thousands was a key election pledge for Prime Minister David Cameron. Leave campaigners say that promise is impossible to keep if Britain does stay in the EU. The Remain camp, though, argues that immigrants bring more to the UK than they take out. Hervé Amoric and Steve O'Reilly report.
St. Francis Drake defeated the Spanish invaders in the 16th century. His ship has guarded the largest fishing harbour in England. In Brixham, like in the rest of Britain, the fishing community is largely in favour of coming out of the EU.
Yeah, definitely out. And I think most of the people around here feel the same.
Building on the fishermen's anger with Europe, the Vote Leave campaigners have been very active here.
Our branch has so far delivered in the region of 100,000 leaflets. We've got a fairly good idea of the amount of voters that we've got and what they think.
Immigration?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit rude to say to keep people out of our country, but to give our people jobs and that.
For these activists, David Cameron failed to deliver on his pledge to reduce immigration, and the only way for Britain to control its borders is to leave the EU.
We would be able to have more people from other countries coming to stay with us, but people who are actually contributing, and, you know, more nurses and doctors and people who we actually need.
London employs a lot of citizens from across Europe. Marta works as a beautician, originally from Poland. She arrived here 8 years ago. She lives with her 2 children in this council estate in Shepherd's Bush, where she feels at home.
In my opinion, we are contributing much more, yes, in this global situation that is taking somehow. Immigrants are working in this like part of the economy, yeah? We provide services different. I was accountant, I was a nanny. Now I'm beauty therapist. I'm working all the time with the people.
Pulling out, sir. Pull out the EU. Roger.
Monmouth, in South Wales. The campaigns to stay in and to leave the EU set up camps side by side in the best spot in town.
It's not about saying that we wouldn't welcome people from France or Germany or other EU countries here. My wife actually is Hungarian. But what I think we would want to do is to ensure that when Turkey, Albania and Macedonia come into the European Union, we do have control over how many people can come here from those countries, because they're much poorer countries.
Inevitably, between the camps, passions rise on the key issue.
And what do you want?
Migrants in this
country.
You
want to allow Roman and gypsies into the country that actually defecate monuments of London?
Arguments on migration fuel the debate. In some areas, the campaign has turned nasty. A few miles away, at this literary festival, the key issues in this referendum are taking central stage. The Vote Leave campaign argues that immigration places a great strain on public services.
There's a very large number of people coming from the European Union, mainly coming from the poorer countries of the European Union. And this is a challenge for public services, for the NHS, for schools, for the infrastructure.
But one of the most influential voices on the Remain side calls on Britain to lead Europe, not leave it.
What message would we send to the world if we turned our back on our nearest neighbours and said cooperation was not the way of the future but isolation? It is not the Britain I know, and it is not the Britain I want us to be. Thank you very much.
The rational issue says we are a declining population. We need migrants in order to support the economic base. Now, the flip side of that is that we have anxieties about national identity. But this is a country where our national dish is chicken tikka masala. We drink tea. We love pasta. I mean, there's nothing actually authentically British about closure. Everything about British is about being global.
After the show, members of the audience make up their mind.
That there's this wave of neo-nationalism, and I think it's about fear and, you know, and some of the things that we've seen recently with ISIS and immigration and a lot of issues that are very, very topical. But I think it's the wrong reason to vote Brexit.
if we do choose to, as a country, to leave Europe, that's something that's quite definitive and it'll be very hard to return from that.
It's been a long, polarising campaign. Voters may be dazed and confused, but most realise that this referendum is a crunch moment in their country's history.